Hi, I'm Kat, marketer turned brand storyteller,
And I'm Candice, educator turned entrepreneur.
and you're listening to
Not nice, clever.
We're two introverts who speak on stages around the country and work with top personal brands who also unapologetically require 24 to 48 hours of recovery time on the couch in our favorite sweats, all Netflix and no chill.
And to be clear, we're not quiet or nice. Together, we're redefining what it means to be an introvert who means business. It's time to show up and show off. Are you in?
In today's mini episode, we are talking about how to deal with the notion of copycats when they crop up on social, in your social circles, at events, whatever it may be. It can sometimes inspire feelings of ickiness. It can make you feel triggered. It can make you feel all sorts of ways. So, this is today's mini episode. And, you might be surprised. Candice and I are usually very in sync on a lot of things, which we love, but we also love to keep it real with you. So we're going to share our perspectives on how we deal with copycats. If you've been feeling some kind of way, listen in because this episode is for you guys.
I'm so excited to talk about this today because this is something that I feel like I have been dealing with. And I usually complain to Dom when I see something that I feel like is taken from what I teach or what I've said before. And I get really freaking annoyed. It bothers me when people are using my way of describing something and not giving me credit.
Mm-hmm.
It will bother me for days, to be quite honest, and it's probably something I need to work on, so I'm just gonna tell the clever crew right now that, look, I'm not perfect and some things bother me maybe more than they should, but I will be on this for a while, and I also have heard people say that imitation is the best form of flattery or something like that, and I
Yeah.
think it's just such bullshit. Um
Hot take, y'all. Right off the
Hot
digital
take.
press.
I don't like it. While also, on the other hand, I do understand and recognize that there are probably things that I say and do that aren't unique, that maybe were inspired by a book I read or a podcast I listened to or a post that I saw. And I do get inspiration from a lot of sources. Here's the thing. When I know that I'm using inspiration from someone, I will say,
Mm-hmm.
and Glenda Baker said this on stage, and Giselle said this in a video. And do I do it 100% of the time? Probably not,
Mm-hmm.
which is where like that gray area comes in because I sometimes just don't know where
Consciously.
I
Yeah.
read that thing consciously, right? Where I got the inspiration. So I know it's like a messy kind of middle gray area sometimes because there's probably not any 100% unique thought that's not built off of something else.
Yeah.
But I just need to get this off my chest because it does freaking bother me. And I just want everyone to know that you shouldn't copy people's content and you should give credit where credit is due. When you know the source, you should cite the source.
Mm-hmm.
And you should try to look up the source, which Kat and I have also done on this podcast. We're like, ooh, where did we learn that? We will
Right.
Google something and find someone on this podcast if we need to give them
We
credit.
will. Absolutely.
And apologies to anyone who may feel like that about me. Maybe they look at my content and they're like, oh my gosh, she totally copied me. If you think that, I'm sorry
Call me
right
out.
now. Definitely not my
Yeah.
intention. Call me out. I will give you credit for something.
Yes.
Let me know what I need to tag you in. And so that's just how I feel. That's where I'm at with this right now, Kat. Maybe I'll feel differently at a different point in my life, but don't copy people.
Yeah. Intentionally, consciously. And here's the other side of the coin because this is one of those things that I oddly don't have a problem. I don't feel icky or triggered by it. I'm grateful for it. I'm not saying it's good or bad. It's where Candice and I are different, which I love, right? And so on the other side of the coin, I back up everything you said, Candice. If you know, give credit. Honor the work, respect the work, do right by that. That is just having integrity, in my opinion, as a person, as a business owner. But also, I will caution you, and you can share this with anyone that you maybe see copycatting somebody else. It's not actually going to give you the results you want. It's
Mm-hmm.
not going to deliver because you could give Candice and I the same exact script, put us in front of the same exact audience, and then pull that audience afterward and say, hey, what do you remember Kat saying? what's your impressions? What's your feedback? What's your review of it? And then they could poll that audience and ask you the same questions about Candice when she's up on stage in front of them, right? And I guarantee
Mhm.
you the answers will be different because we could be saying the same things on paper, but I'm going to be using slightly different words or slightly different intonation, or my body language is going to change, and it's going to just have a different beat to it, a different texture,
Right.
a different frequency, and it's going to land with people differently. Therefore, it will yield different reactions and results. And that's why you and I, like in working with clients, we're never a fan of copy or paste. There's like similar
No.
approaches, but the
Mhm.
actual specifics of implementation and execution and showing up, like that's got to be you. Otherwise, it won't
Right.
work, period. Right?
And that's why branding matters, because you have to know who you are, because who you are is going to influence how you deliver any message and how you interact with people. And that's why this is such an important message, and why you can't literally just copy people, because they've created something from their experiences and what they've encountered, and it doesn't feel the same way if you haven't come from that same background or same set of experiences. So, I don't know, dealing with copycats, here's basically the thing I want the audience to take away from this, Clever Crew. I want you to know that we likely will all deal with some kind of copycats in our life as content creators, as people who have platforms and audiences.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to happen. I don't think anyone is immune to it.
Agreed.
And the thing that's most important, I think, is to continue on and not let that hold you back. I probably let it drain more energy from me than I should. And that's something I want to actively work on,
Mm-hmm.
because consistently showing up as yourself is the only thing that's going to help you make the right connections for you and moving forward. And just deuces to the copycats.
Seriously, it's not, it won't work. And I think the last thing too I want everybody to remember is to not make it mean anything about you. I think when we get triggered and we get angry and our jaw clench and we're just like, who the fuck does this bitch think she is? Like those, the mental tapes, when we see that come across our feed.
What you want to write on
Right.
Instagram, but don't.
Right.
Just kidding.
Yeah. One of those moments where you write out the email and you never fucking send it. That's this moment that we're talking about. We think because it means something about us, right? It doesn't. It
Mhm.
doesn't. And I understand it's a simple concept. It's not an easy one. And for whatever reason, like this doesn't bother me, but like I'm sure we're gonna record a future mini episode where I'm like, Candice, we gotta fucking talk about this. You're like, really? I don't really like what? That's a thing? And I'm like, shit, okay, now roles
Yeah.
are reversed. Like now we get to explore that. But the copycats, as cute as it sounds, as alliterative as it sounds, just try to treat it like when they tell you at the zoo to just not feed the animals and to just like let them be, just like put it like mute them, unfollow them, do whatever you got to do, keep your blinders on, and know that it's just not going to work for them anyway in the long term.
Keep it pushing. Thanks, Clever Crew. Thanks for joining us on Not Nice, Clever.
Remember to follow our podcast wherever you listen to audio.
And if you found today's episode valuable, please share it with your friends.
No gatekeeping here. Remember, we love to see our Clever Crew grow.
Signing off, you're not so nice, but oh so clever besties that mean business.
See you soon.